Let's talk about a very interesting species on the internet. The people who absolutely hates fiction. You know the ones. The moment you say you love reading romance, fiction, fantasy, or a literary any fictional story, they appear with the same advice. Why are you reading that? Why don't you read something useful? Why don't you read something related to business? Why don't you read something related to self help? Or why don't you read that will actually help you in life? And suddenly you are standing there and thinking like, wait a minute, did I just commit a crime by enjoying a fictional story? Apparently, in some corners of the internet, reading fiction is considered waste of time. And today I really want to talk about this mindset because I see it everywhere. Some people, few of them have popped up in my DMs too to let me, to advise me that don't read these fiction books, don't read it. These will not help you anywhere. Read something useful, read something strategic, read something like related to business, read something self-help which will motivate you. And somewhere along the way, the internet decided that reading is only valuable if it makes you more productive. If a book doesn't promise to make you rich, disciplined, successful, or a 5 a.m. waking billionaire, then apparently it's not worth reading. And look, I'm not against self help books, not against any business or strategic books. If these books generally helps you, genuinely helps you, that's amazing. But the idea that these are the only books worth reading is honestly a little strange. Stories existed thousands of years before productivity culture existed. Humans have always told stories, myths, legends, novels, poetries, because stories are part of how we understand emotions, people, and life itself. But now, suddenly, people act like the only acceptable book is something called How to Become Successful in 30 Days. And I'm sorry, that just sounds exhausting. And let me be honest with something. When I read a self help book, I don't suddenly wake up the next morning like, wow, my life is changed now. And not suddenly waking up at 5 a.m., running a business, drinking green juice, journaling about my goals, and becoming the most disciplined person alive. For me personally, motivation from these books doesn't last very long. Maybe I feel inspired for 1 hour, maybe one day. But real change in life is much more complicated than reading one book. So, when someone says fiction is useless and only self-help book matters, I honestly doesn't agree because different people read for different purposes, different reasons. Different people have their own reasons to read different genres. For me, reading is personal. Reading is comfort. Reading is sometimes just escaping the world for a little while. It's about entering a completely different universe and losing yourself in a story. And yes, sometimes it's about being a little bit delulu. And honestly, that's fun. Not everything we do has to be about productivity, success, and optimization. Life is already stressful enough. Sometimes you just want to sit with a cup of tea, open a book, and forget about the real world for a few hours. And fiction allows that in a way that many others don't. Now, let me talk about my own reading journey. When I first started reading, my first book was romance book, and yes, it had some types of spice in it. Before anyone panics in the comment section, I would like to say that no, it was not Haunting Adeline, and not it was not also from any Coho Colin Hoover books. I have not entered the dark romance world yet, and honestly, I'm not planning to anytime soon. But here is the funny part. When I first started reading the book, I was not used to those scenes at all, like at all. So whenever those parts came, I would literally pause reading. Sometimes I would skip them. Sometimes I would close the book and come back later. And because of that, it actually took me 2 to 3 months to complete or to finish that single book. Not because it was difficult, just because I was still figuring out my own reading comfort level. And I think that's very normal part of being a beginner reader. Over time, my reading taste started changing. Now I am currently in my no spice to very little spice era, and now I definitely more familiar with those things, and that's completely fine because reading taste is not fixed. It evolves. Sometimes you love light romance, sometimes you want fantasy, sometimes you want thriller, sometimes you want emotional, and sometimes you just want comfort books. The important thing is that you don't force yourself to read something just because everyone else is reading it. What I find really strange is when people start shaming others for what they read, especially fiction readers, as if reading romance novels is somehow less intelligent, or reading fantasy means you are escaping reality too much. First of all, yes, escaping the reality is sometimes the entire plot or the entire point. That's literally what stories are for. And secondly, fiction can actually teach a lot. It teaches empathy, it shows different perspectives, it explores emotions and relationships. A good story can stay with you for years. So, calling fiction useless is honestly ignoring the power stories have always had. If someone is starting reading, the worst advice you can give them is read something difficult or read something productive. Instead, the best advice is very simple. Find what you enjoy. Maybe it's romance, maybe it's fantasy, maybe it's mystery, maybe it's literary fiction, or maybe it's even self-help. But the key is finding the genre that makes you excited to open a book, because once you find that feeling, reading becomes somehow effortless. And at the end of the day, reading is not a competition. It's not about who reads the most intellectual books. It's not about who reads the most productive books, and it's also not about finding stories that make you feel burdened. It's about finding stories that make you feel something, stories that comfort you, stories that help you escape for a while. So if you love self-help books, that's great. If you love business books, that's great too. But if someone loves romance, fantasy, or any kind of fiction, maybe just let them enjoy it, because reading is supposed to be fun. And reading the moment reading stops being fun, maybe people stops reading altogether, and that's what we don't want. If we are starting reading, we should not shame them, we should not mock them, we should not make fun of them of reading these fictions. Some I have been always heard these things, that you should not read these books are not very up to the mark to read for you. But anyways, I read it because that's where I found the comfort, and that's where I found my happiness. Why should not I fix those? Why should not I pick up those books which comfort me? Why should I pick up those books which other people recommend me because they think that is the suitable book for me? And honestly, if you want to know about me, actually, I don't enjoy any such type of self-help books or strategic books or the books where my mind needs or I need to learn something up, because oh come on, I cannot get motivated from reading a book and reading other stories. if I need motivation, I will look around myself. I will find motivation inside me rather than reading a book. So that's my perspective. I'm not even shaming anybody. I'm just answering to those who have always advised me to read fictions and to not read fictions and read non-fictions and all. And as I said, that self-help books didn't work for me. I DNF'd 2 to 3 self-help books which I unknowingly bought in the starting when I started reading, and I just DNF'd them. I didn't even read 2 pages and I DNF'd them. And for a very long time, I was in so much in guilt that, oh, I bought these books and I didn't read it. But after a few minutes, after a few times, not a few times, after a very long time, like for 2 to 3 years, this year in January, I finally DNF'd those non-fiction books because that was not of my type. And I don't think that unless and until I found any strong pull towards those books, I'm gonna start them even, or I'm gonna even buy any of single non-fiction books. So that's it. It was for today's. Actually, right now it's 4:32 a.m. and it is like on like 2 a.m. thoughts, and after procrastinating for about 2 hours, I finally made this video. And I know this is something unusual from my usual niche or usual videos I post. But if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. And if you're new here and if you loved talking with me, if you love listening to me, or if you want to talk with me, please consider subscribing and help me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening me, and don't feel shame while reading any type of book. If you read self-help, that's okay. If you read business strategic books, you are okay. If you read non-fiction, you are okay. If you read romance, it's okay. The first rule you have to know is that don't shame anybody for what they read. Don't shame anybody. Don't mock anybody for what they read, what they find comfort in it. Because for a very long time, I have been so scared to read romance or to read fiction book because I thought that people will mock me, and people had mocked me. Not my very close friends had mocked me about reading those books. And one of my closest friend found the courage to still continue those fiction books, and she got really so hard disappointments and so many mocking things she got to her. But wherever possible, I defended her, because if I'm not reading, if I'm not supporting her, then that doesn't mean that she should also not read those books. Yes, she should read those books because she likes it. She finds comfort in it. And it's completely okay. It's not about to feel any shame in those. So please don't please don't feel any shame in reading those books. And these things are very much related to books. That's why I choose to record this and post on my channel, and I think you will not mind these things. Anyways, I promise the book reviews will come soon, and there many videos will come soon, as I'm currently a little bit busy right now. If I find time, I will surely record it and will post on it. Thank you so much. And yes, we have crossed 100 subscribers in just 2 months, and we are very, very, very happy 100 family now, more than 100 family, and we are very close to 150 subscribers. So thank you so much. And I believe that if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Thank you.